Sports live on a Titans Thursday, and we're going to have a great show this morning because the debate that was A to Z versus A to Z on Twitter yesterday has finally gone national as Good Morning Football has jumped in to the Stormtrooper debate for the Titans jersey. So we're going to have a great show this morning here on a Titans Thursday. We've got Titans Vikings coming up on Sunday. So we're going to get you guys ready for that. Stock up, stock down on the quarterbacks with these two teams. So we'll talk about that. And one thing that makes you the most confident about the Titans being able to get to 3-0 for the first time since 2008. The last time they've been 2-0 as well. So then we'll dive into the Stormtrooper debate. I have no idea what side Zach is on with this debate, but we have the video from Good Morning Football talking to Titans tight end Jonnu Smith about whether those white jersey, white pants combos or Stormtroopers or not. So it's me versus Buck Rising. We'll get you guys and your opinions as well. And then, of course, we've got 3 injury updates from the Titans and what it means for Sunday that we'll talk about. And it's Thursday. So Titans and the Magic Bucket. That is what Thursdays mean. Titans and Magic Bucket here on A to Z Sports. Zach, let's get this thing going. It's going to be a good show.
Yeah, and after yesterday, I had to update the graphic a little bit because the Magic Bucket is no longer blue, if you do remember that, because BioPure, they changed the standard of clean, and they've changed the color of our bucket. It's green, baby. And if you need your house clean, if you need your business clean, BioPure is changing that standard, and they are a great sponsor of the Magic Bucket every single Thursday. So a little new flair to that. Did you say you know what my opinion is on the Stormtrooper or not?
I said I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I haven't really.
You stayed quiet yesterday.
I know. I haven't unveiled that decision. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So we'll get your opinion, everybody's opinion on that debate. I thought it was pretty interesting that Kyle Brandt. That's a very Kyle Brandt question,
of course.
And the great part about it is we get to talk about Star Wars, and as everybody knows, I'm a big Star Wars guy.
You're not.
And that also, I think, needs to be discussed. So bottom right corner of your screen, if you're watching on Periscope/Twitter, you'll see those 3 little dots. You can share the broadcast that way. We need to pop up in your Twitter followers' timeline. Please retweet the show to your timeline. Also on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. More people will roll in over the next 5 to 10 minutes on this hashtag Titans Thursday, A to Z Sports style. Bottom left corner of your screen, if you're watching on Facebook, share now to public. That is share now to public. Job done. Enjoy the show. Now start commenting, and we'll all have a great Titans Thursday. So share the show around, and we'll get this bad boy started here very shortly.
Yep, let's get it going officially. Welcome to A to Z Sports. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports, on Facebook at A to Z Sports Nashville, YouTube and Twitch as well. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time. Got to thank our sponsors because they truly do make it happen for us and for you guys. Renterswarehouse.com. That's where you should go to find out how much your home can rent for. They're the professional landlords at renterswarehouse.com in Nashville. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, where 1 15-minute workout equals 5+ hours in the weight room. Mandu.com is where to go for them. The Tucker Agency, Nashville's independent insurance agency, giving you relief by saving you money off of your personal insurance, tuckertn.com. Calvin and Settle for your new hardwood floors and finishings, calvinandsettle.com. And then, of course, Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic care, boneandjointtn.org. So, Zach, we're going to have the Kyle Brandt video that we're going to play, the second topic of today's show, because we do want to talk about Titans, Vikings, and the Titans having an opportunity to get to 3-0 this season. And you think there's one thing that makes you confident about the Titans being able to beat the Vikings on the road. The Titans are a 3-point favorite, but you're pretty confident I'm taking it in the Titans this weekend?
Well, I think for one main reason, and it's really not about the Titans, in my opinion. It's about that man in purple at the bottom of our screen. It's Kirk Cousins and the way he's playing, which is dreadful. I mean, he's playing awful. One of the worst quarterback play of the last 2 weeks of the 2020 football season. He's throwing interceptions. He's not consistent. Like, this is what I thought. All right, Austin, it's a great comparison. Jared Goff is using Cooper Kupp like he should. The problem is Kirk Cousins is not using Adam Thielen like he should. And Kupp and Thielen, I kind of put in the same, maybe white guy, wide receiver, right? You put them in the same bucket because they're really, really good. They get open, they're reliable, and they've got quality hands.
Yeah.
But there's a polar difference, and it's 2 games, right? The Rams are 2-0 and the Vikings are 0-2. And I think it's because the Vikings, they've relied heavily on Dalvin Cook a season ago. They still do. But the quarterback play has been so bad the last 2 weeks. And I didn't watch as much of the Vikings-Colts game as I watched Vikings Colts compared to the Vikings-Packers game the first week of the season. But there's one thing that aligns with both those games. Kirk Cousins really bad. I mean, he had a 0.0 quarterback rating like in the third quarter against the Colts.
Oh, he had negative fantasy points.
Well, that's why I don't think he's a quarterback for anybody.
No, he shouldn't be. I mean, you're having a deep-ass league and starting 2 quarterbacks. If you got
two quarterbacks,
right?
which is that's like a 7th grade thing, right? It's like, hey, this is our exotic fantasy. Let's have 6 wide receivers and 2 quarterbacks and score like 300 points a game.
so stock up for Tannehill, right? Because he's 6 touchdowns with 0 picks. He's got the 6th highest quarterback rating in the NFL. Kirk Cousins is probably down by the bottom of that barrel when it comes to quarterback rating, throwing a lot of interceptions. He even had an interception called back in that game from a defensive penalty for the Colts. Now he threw another pick like 3 plays later on the same possession. But I think losing Stephon Diggs, and you look at what's happening with the Houston Texans inside the Titans division as well, losing Stephon Diggs and losing DeAndre Hopkins has really hurt Deshaun Watson, the Vikings offense with Kirk Cousins as well. And Will Fuller went ghost mode in week 2 for the Texans. He had 0 catches, and then he had a hamstring injury. Shocker that Will Fuller got hurt in week 2 as he wanted to be a part of all the week 2 injuries. But for the Vikings, I think it's Adam Thielen. Kirk Cousins is forcing the ball to Adam Thielen because that's all he has on the outside. Justin Jefferson, who's the 1st-round draft pick out of LSU, it was a bad year to draft a wide receiver high in the 1st round when you desperately needed that wide receiver to replace your Pro Bowl guy that you trade away. And so without the continuity or the chemistry that they could gain in the offseason, Adam Thielen is being forced to football, which is leading to interceptions. And I saw somebody mention in the comments earlier that the Titans cannot allow Kirk Cousins to get confidence in this game. And I want to be able to, here it is. Bronson Knuckles, which is a great name, says the Titans can't let Cousins gain confidence in this game. And you brought up Dalvin Cook and how they're relying a lot on Dalvin Cook. You can't let Dalvin Cook get confident in this game and get moving as well because the Titans gave up over 100 yards to undrafted rookie James Robinson last week of the Jags. They gave up a bunch of yards in the air to Gardner Minshew last week. They cannot let Cook and Cousins, who have had success in the NFL, they cannot let them get going.
No, they absolutely can't. And to your point, I think, look, you can't allow Kirk Cousins to get confidence, and you have to understand that is probably the thing that the Vikings are going to try to do, right? Right? That's what they are. That's their game plan is short passes, screen passes, slants, drags. Let's get him some first downs to start the game, a long drive. And really, it's the bizarro Tannehill because that's what Tannehill has been able to do. He has been able to be efficient, not get in 3rd and longs. Do you remember a couple of years ago? I mean, we've been covering this team for a while, and God knows the people watching this show, they've been following this team for a while. We remember when it was 3rd and 12, like 4 times a game? This is not your Titans team, and I think one of the reasons is obviously Derrick Henry not getting -2 yards because of a bad offensive line or play call or whatever. He's at least getting 2 to 3 yards. Now, he's not getting the 8 to 12 that we're used to in November, December the last couple of years, but it has helped Ryan Tannehill So defensively for the Titans, they have to push Kirk Cousins into passing situations, as you kind of alluded to, because they're going to either force it to Thielen or he's going to throw a pick. I mean, that's been the first 2 games of the season.
What it feels like, that's for sure. A to Z Sports here live on a Titans Thursday. Going to get some of your reaction, get you guys involved in the discussion here. We're going to ask you a question, and that is, what's one thing that makes you the most confident about the Titans getting to 3-0 this weekend? What's one thing that makes you the most confident about the Titans getting to 3-0? But before we do that, guys, will tell you about Mandu, the pulse of fitness, where one 15-minute workout equals 5 hours in the weight room. Mandu.com. Your first workout is absolutely free. It's perfect during the pandemic because it's by appointment only. There's only one other person in there working out with you, maximum. I had a great workout next to Bob yesterday. Here's the crazy thing about Mandu. I'm 30 years old, and Bob was in his 60s. And me and Bob did the same workout. We both walked out of there sweating our asses off because Amy worked us really hard. Mandu.com, 15 minutes equals 5 hours. Full body electronic muscle stimulation. Your first workout's free. Mandu.com.
A to Z Sports, what's the one thing that makes you most confident of the Titans getting to 3-0? As we know, the Titans opened the season. Denver, you had the kicking woes, but at the end stole that game with, a 31-yard field goal, and they kept the kicker. Second game, missed an extra point, but the problem wasn't necessarily the kicker because he actually won the game again with a 50-plus yard field goal. It was more about defense, defensive liability. That's the one thing that I would be like, we're going to talk about what your confidence in. Before we get to that and all the viewers and yours, Austin, the one thing I'm a little worried about is what you mentioned. Getting Kirk Cousins confidence with drag and short routes the same way that Gardner Minshew kind of ripped him apart in the second half and got down the field with long drives that ended in touchdowns.
Right. So read some comments there. We're asking you guys the question, what are you most confident in that can get the Titans to 3-0 against the Vikings? And I'll give you guys my answer here in a second. But so far, what are comments saying about what makes them so confident in the Titans winning this game?
Deborah says team chemistry, not blowing it in the second half from Nardo. Ryan Tannehill should do well on this suspect secondary. So Bobby's going with really maybe the Vikings back half of the defense. EDB615 says on YouTube, Vikings injuries and our players returning from injuries. That's something that we'll talk about later on in the show. So a little foreshadowing there. Joseph says Tannehill makes me more comfortable because he's better than Cousins. I definitely agree with that. Mm-hmm. And Roderick brings up he still doesn't have confidence in the kicking game. I'm aligned with Roderick. I don't either. I think
but that's but Roderick, bro, we're talking like what makes you most confident, not the other side of it. Because I can come up with a list of things that I could see burning the Titans in this game. Would be like a catastrophic turnover, which they have not had a turnover yet on offense, that would allow the Vikings to gain some momentum, to gain some confidence in themselves. And of course, Gostkowski missing more kicks would hurt the Titans for sure. But for me, Zach, I look at what Phillip Rivers was able to accomplish against the Vikings defense. He was efficient. Now, he threw one interception, but Phillip Rivers throws interceptions. That's what happens. But Phillip Rivers walked out of that game with a Colts win and with a 97.8 quarterback rating. Phillip Rivers averaged over 8.5 yards per attempt in that game. And Jonathan Taylor, the Colts rookie, ran for 100 yards. So if the Colts offense was able to be as balanced against the Vikings defense, I expect the Titans to be able to have success in the running game. And then I expect Ryan Tannehill, if Phillip Rivers was efficient, and Phillip Rivers is rarely efficient, he just is a volume quarterback at this age in his career. If Ryan Tannehill is going to be really efficient with less volume than Phillip Rivers, and because it is the Vikings injuries. Anthony Barr is now out for the season. Who is Yannick Ngakoue is playing, right? He's really the only guy because Danielle Hunter is on injured reserve like Adoree Jackson is for at least one more week. So balance on offense is against the Vikings defense from whatever the Vikings have already given up on defense this year. That's what makes me most confident in the Titans getting to 3-0. And I feel pretty good about it right now.
Well, I think you should, right? You have a 2-0 team that went to the playoffs and an 0-2 team that went to the playoffs last year, but they're not playing like a playoff team. And here's, I think, the big difference, Austin. If you look at these two teams, this year's Titans looks very similar to last year's Titans, which was an AFC Championship appearance, right? This year's Vikings doesn't look like last year's Vikings, right? So last year's Vikings was a playoff team that beat the Saints, as you know, Kyle Rudolph, back corner of the end zone. It doesn't look like the same team. And it's hard because, and I said this maybe it was last week after I'd watched them for the first time, but I look at who they tried to replace Stephon Diggs with, which was Justin Jefferson, and he looks small. He's a rookie who just needs time to gain weight and grow up. That's not the solution, right? Just because you're a first-round pick, as Titans fans know with Corey Davis in his first couple of years, it doesn't mean that you're going to jump on the scene and be this outstanding guy. Now, in some scenarios, that can happen, but it hasn't so far, I think, in 2 games to say, wow, this guy's, it could be a superstar rookie. Like we kind of felt with A.J. Brown, that he was making some big-time plays in the first couple of weeks of the season. I think the Vikings have problems because they don't have, let's just face it, they don't have the athletes or the talent that the Titans do. They don't.
Sure. Now, one thing that I look at with the Vikings is they still have Adam Thielen and they still have Kyle Rudolph. And who has hurt the Titans through the first 2 weeks of the season? Tight ends. Noah Fant had a big game, huge first half.
Yeah, first half. Not a
huge, but a huge first half. And then Tyler Eifert had a really good game last week against the Titans. So Kyle Rudolph still has ability to play in this league and to make an impact. But so the Vikings have that going for them. And here's the thing I think about too is Malcolm Butler, who is again missing practice because of an injury in a quad. Chris Jackson missed practice, and we'll talk about Irv Smith. Thanks, Chris. Chris brings up Irv Smith, Alabama tight end from Alabama over the last couple of years too, who is very talented. So 2 tight ends for the Vikings. But you've got Chris Jackson with Adoree out, Malcolm Butler dealing with a quad. You've got Amani Hooker playing nickel snaps. You've got Jonathan Joseph, who has gotten hurt in both games and missed snaps because of an injury. Now, he's been able to return from that. But do the Titans have the ability to cover Adam Thielen like the Packers and like the Colts did? Because I honestly don't think so. With how their secondary is right now, it's can you stop Adam Thielen and the 2 tight ends with the personnel that you have healthy? And that is where I think I do worry about the Titans right now in week 3.
Oh, they definitely have to improve from their defense that in the second half against Jacksonville, right? Up 24-10. You can't give up that amount of points. I mean, they gave up 20 points in the second half, and it was a 3-point game. So there is concerns on this game. I also look at the biggest factor on why let's diagnose the 2 teams real quick, right? I'll ask you this, Austin. I know that you've watched the 2 Titans games. I'm not sure about the Vikings games, but give me the number one reason on why the Titans have won the first 2 games of the season.
Timely defense.
Is that what you're saying?
There's no
right or wrong answer. It's your opinion.
Timely defense has been pretty damn big because they were able to shut down the Broncos when the Broncos had the 1-point lead and made them punt the ball twice. And we forget, obviously Jeffrey Simmons forced the Harold Landry interception to end the game, but you forget what happened on the possession before where the Titans and Clowney forced a 3-and-out to get the Titans the ball back to go to kick the game-winning field goal and then made the stop. So I would say timely defense late in the game made key stops when they had to.
Okay, so and that's more specific than a lot of others because this is what I thought you were going to say, but it's what everybody else said, and it's the quarterback play of Ryan Tannehill. He got the Titans in position to win the game. They ultimately won the game because of Ryan Tannehill. That was not the answer I was looking for. It's your answer. It's your opinion. That's fine. And I don't think your answer is wrong. I think it's right.
Well, it's because there's always more than one reason why you win a game, right?
Yeah, because a lot of things happen. Unless it's Well, yes, you are correct.
And game-winning field goal, like there's a lot, right?
Right, but Ryan Tannehill, I would put at the top of the list because he put his team consistently the first two games in a position to win. So I'll answer this because I don't know how much Vikings football you've been watching this season. The main reason why the Vikings are 0-2 is because of turnovers, right? It's just turnovers. There's a simple answer. It's not as complicated as maybe why the Titans have won 2 games. So we also know in football, you don't turn the football over every single game. Now, sometimes if you're like the 0-16 Browns, maybe you do, but I don't think the Vikings are going to be that. If they eliminate turnovers, then I think this is a lot closer game, right? Because they were fighting from behind the entire Indianapolis game. Mm-hmm. They were fighting from behind the majority, if not all, of the Packers game because Aaron Rodgers just turned it on. It went back and forth in the first quarter a little bit, but turnovers. Yeah. The Titans have to force turnovers because the Vikings have told us they crumble once they start to give their teams an advantage.
Yeah, because the Vikings got up with a short field goal in the first quarter, 3-0. And then it was touchdown, then safety from the Colts, then field goal, touchdown, field goal. And all of a sudden you blink and it's 28-3. So, and then Dalvin Cook scores a trash touchdown with 5 minutes left in the game that makes 28-11 not look nearly as bad as 28-3 was looking for a lot of that game. It was a complete control by the Indianapolis Colts throughout the game because we look at the 3 interceptions from Kirk Cousins, but we don't necessarily look at the safety that the Colts defense was able to get in that game too, with DeForest Buckner making a big play for Indy. Okay, A to Z Sports here live. We still have
real quick. Yeah. You mentioned DeForest Buckner. He was a savage throughout that game. I think that opens up the possibility of Jeffrey Simmons will maybe talking about some pass rush here in a second, but Jeffrey Simmons getting in the backfield and disrupting and really that entire interior defensive line because of what Buckner did.
Yeah, so we will talk about the Titans pass rush and talk about 3 different guys dealing with injuries, but we're going to do that after we talk about the debate that has gone national, and that is stormtroopers or no stormtroopers. So, Zach, tell the people about the Tucker Agency, and then we will play you guys the video from Good Morning Football about the Titans All-Whites being stormtroopers or not stormtroopers. But, Zach, go ahead.
Yeah, well, to save money or not to save money, you should absolutely choose to save money. The Tucker Agency can help you do that by restructuring your insurance. If you have car insurance, you're driving a car, you have car insurance. I know that. Do you own a home? Well, you have homeowners insurance. I know they have that. Do you rent? Well, you should have renter's insurance. If, God forbid, something happened, 2020 is not going too well. So I would be insured, right? We still got a couple more months left of this year. So make sure your insurance is right. Also, life insurance. If you have a family, protect your family for the unknowns. The Tucker Agency can help you out. The average customer that emails will@tuckertn.com saves 20% on their insurance policy. You cannot beat that. That's hundreds of dollars possibly back into your pocket. Will, W-I-L-L, he's the owner of the Tucker Agency. His team will hook you up. Will@tuckertn.com.
All right, A to Z Sports. The Titans are currently 3-point favorites over the Vikings at mybookie.ag. Use code MyTitans to double your first deposit. A lot of you guys are doing this. I've done it. Our Fred's writer Alex Doherty has done it. Jump on board, mybookie.ag, code MyTitans. Zach, you got to dip your toe in this and jump on board with us. Prop bets come out on Friday and Saturday. They're a lot of fun. Mybookie.ag, code MyTitans is where to go. So, stormtroopers or not stormtroopers? That's the question. We go to Kyle Brandt with Titans tight end Jonnu Smith on Good Morning Football earlier today.
Hear me out. You guys will be wearing your white jerseys and white pants against Minnesota on Sunday, which some people have dubbed the Stormtrooper unis. But there are others who are very triggered by that because they say, no. Whoa. Stormtroopers do not wear blue helmets. And this Titans Twitter is on this and Titans media is on this. So we need you to settle this. Jonnu Smith, star tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Are those the stormtrooper units with the blue helmets? Should we be calling them the stormtroopers or not?
Man, they named it the Stormtroopers, so I guess they got to be the Stormtroopers, man. Look pretty similar to me.
Okay.
It'd be dope to get some. It'd be dope to definitely throw a white crown on there. I mean, I can't lie, man. That'd be dope.
So there is Jonnu Smith's answer, and I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in Titans tight end Jonnu Smith, and I get it. Jonnu's probably 24, 25 years old. I don't know how often they watch Star Wars.
Well, he admitted he's never seen it.
Okay, so
right after that clip, throughout the course of the interview, he said, "I've never seen Star Wars. I don't go that deep." But he says, "I've never seen Star Wars." So they take that for whatever it is.
Right. So stormtroopers are not stormtroopers, because I gotta give myself credit. I started this because Buck Rising, as soon as Jim Wyatt put out the Bridges report, Jim Wyatt, Titans Online or TennesseeTitans.com, I guess now, said that it's the icy whites. And Buck goes out there, millennial Buck, who also thinks he knows about stuff that he doesn't actually know about, puts a stormtrooper gif. And I responded to Buck and saying, no, stormtroopers don't have blue helmets. They have white helmets. The Titans have blue helmets. They are not stormtroopers at all. That's not like stormtroopers. The most iconic part about the stormtrooper is the helmet that you see right there on the graphic, and the face that the helmet is on. It's that and their awful accuracy when shooting their lasers. That's the story. That's what you know about stormtroopers.
But the problem is that, do you think Buck has ever seen Star Wars?
He probably has. He's probably seen like the Darth Maul like Star Wars. That's probably the Buck Star Wars.
I would probably think not. And have you ever seen Star Wars, or you're just not a Star Wars guy? You've seen it.
I've seen the first or the first 6 movies that were made. I haven't seen the most recent ones, but no, I'm not a Star Wars person.
And then Star Wars people, because they're all over the internet, came in and I think spit you some knowledge about the education of Star Wars helmets, because there are Star Wars stormtroopers that aren't all white. I'll give you this example, okay? Because this is an Imperial stormtrooper. It's an elite military officer that has unique blue markings on their armor befitting the element, rank, and position.
That looks like an Indianapolis Colts helmet with a stripe down the center of it. It's a white helmet.
Because you're not attuned to the stormtrooper lingo.
Okay, look, stormtroopers are all white. The original creators of Star Wars.
No, they're not.
That is a clone trooper and the elite of them, right? Like that's such a tiny portion of stormtroopers. When we were kids and we were being introduced to Star Wars, what was every single stormtrooper out there? And here's the thing, is Buck used the GIF that was like all the stormtroopers walking down the hallway, and not a single one of them was the Imperial stormtrooper / clone trooper or whatever. No, stormtroopers
you can't say whatever when you're trying to be factually correct. That's the issue, Austin. Look, and to be honest, I don't care. And I love uniforms, right? Here, I love uniforms. But I don't care what you call them. I just love that they're wearing them, right? Because
they're icy whites. They're icy whites.
But it doesn't necessarily matter. But if you really want to be factual, you cannot die on the hill that there are stormtroopers that only wear all white, because that's not true.
But like 85% of the stormtroopers are all white.
Well, and the Titans versions are not those 85. They're the other 15%.
No. See,
here's stormtrooper.
And so I do think it's funny because somebody said, I'm trying to find the comment about me not being a Star Wars guy, but as Kyle Brandt said, being triggered by the stormtrooper. I'm not triggered by it, but from a Star Wars aspect, because there are the stormtroopers. I think there are 3 college football programs that started the stormtrooper look that got called and coined the stormtrooper look. It's Penn State, it's the University of Texas, and the University of Tennessee. Those 3 colleges were coined the Stormtroopers because they have white helmets. They would wear their white jerseys, their white pants, and a lot of times white cleats. The Tennessee Titans do not have Stormtrooper jerseys anymore because they have blue helmets. And there might be, okay, that guy has a blue stripe on his white helmet.
Well, your argument is that it has to be all white. That's the issue. There's just a flaw in your argument. All I'm saying is that you cannot die on this hill because you're factually incorrect with what you're arguing.
Zach,
I'm a Star Wars guy, so I know this.
Well, congratulations for being a Star Wars guy.
Also, don't step in the Star Wars domain.
So why did you use
understand?
Okay. So why didn't you use your blue striped white helmet Star Wars guy for the graphic? Because you used the Stormtrooper that everybody recognized as a Stormtrooper.
Yeah, it's a debate. Do you read the graphic?
Stormtrooper debate. I get it. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And you know what? I also put Yoda in there to spit some knowledge on your ass because he knows, because he's knowledgeable, that there are Stormtroopers that have blue on their helmets.
But the traditional Stormtrooper is all white. And so Stormtrooper uniforms in football, because it has changed some. And that's where the Vols, the Longhorns, and Penn State all had their Stormtrooper uniforms coined that back in the 90s. And so that's before Stormtroopers had colors on their helmets.
And Bobby, you are factually incorrect. I have shown multiple times this is an Imperial Stormtrooper, okay? This right here is not a clone trooper, Bobby. This is a Stormtrooper, all right? They're like, Star Wars goes very, very deep. You don't understand this. George Lucas was not just a guy who just wrote some things down and didn't think about it. Like, I'm only spitting and telling facts. At the end of the day, I don't really care, but I am just trying to hold you accountable for factual information to say you cannot say that you could only be Stormtroopers because Stormtroopers are only all white.
Because that's where the Stormtrooper jerseys began. Like the Stormtrooper football uniforms started head to toe all white because the original Stormtroopers are head to toe all white.
Austin, it's not about football. It's about
Yes, it is. This is about football.
No,
because that's what it's yes, it is about football. That's what it's
Star
become.
Wars. Incorrect.
Yes, that's what it has become. Stormtrooper uniforms started in the 90s with Penn State, Tennessee, and Texas, and now they've continued, and they started all white head to toe because the original Stormtroopers in Star Wars were all white head to toe, and the Titans are not that. The Titans are icy white, not Stormtroopers.
That's your opinion, man. You can have that. But here's a little trivia that I think you'll be able to get. How many times have the Titans worn said Star Trooper or
icy white
or icy white, whatever you want to call them? How many times have they worn them, and against what teams?
All right, so I think I know of three. Last year versus the Falcons.
That is correct.
Monday Night Football against the Cowboys.
That is correct.
And I want to say Monday Night Football against the Texans 2 years ago.
That is correct. Way to go. That's pretty impressive right
Dipping into your game.
They like to, and this is maybe a Titans thing, they like to wear the icy white / Stormtroopers when they're in domes, right? When their heads are covered. I don't know why, but that's kind of the trend. I like them. I actually love them. They are one of my favorite uniforms.
I love them too. I think the icy whites are great. They're just not Stormtroopers.
Well, by definition, they can be. If you want them to be, they can be.
They're not, because the Stormtrooper originated from the all-white football uniforms head to toe.
But they also Stormtroopers adapt, and there's not just one singular Stormtrooper. Do you understand that? Do you like time? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, but the origination.
I am correct in that.
I get what you're saying, but the origination of the Stormtrooper football uniform is based off of the Stormtroopers that you put on the graphic. Jose says, Austin, you're taking this too seriously. It's because it involves Tennessee. That's honestly what it is. But it's also, I also love this is because a Twitter spat between me and Buck, A to Z versus A to Z, made it to Good Morning Football. And I think overall, I think that's a win. Whether you agree with me or you agree with Buck, it made it to Good Morning Football, where Kyle Brandt is talking to Jonnu Smith on national television about a Twitter argument that Buck and I had.
All right, so let's power to the people. And again, I don't care what we call them. Like, I could care less. But let's ask our audience right now. We got a good audience. Are the Titans all whites stormtroopers or icy whites? Right? Like, or they could be both, I guess. But we'll put that out there. Comment in the comment section on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. I know what I prefer. I think you could call them both, but what do we think? Let's go and power to the people.
All right, I've got the that's the big win. Long ball, Milton said. So okay.
The best part is, look, we've got icy whites, icy, and then stormtrooper. So the first
hold on. Let's just go through them from start to finish. Brett says Austin's right. Scott says not stormtroopers. Guru says icy white. Rob says icy white. Danny says it's the Titans version of the stormtroopers. Rick says boys in white. Now they're jumping on me, so now I lost it. Icy whites, both, but I like icy whites. Brent icy whites. Turner all white. Eric icy whites. Brandon icy whites. Pam stormtroopers. Alex stormtroopers. Fude stormtroopers. Luke stormtroopers. Moreno icy whites. Caleb icy whites. Jabu icy whites. Brett changed his mind. Now he's on stormtroopers. I feel like icy whites. Kernick says icy stormtroopers are trash. I feel like icy whites ranked or outnumbered the stormtroopers.
I think it's pretty even. It tells you the conclusion that we came to the beginning is you can call them both because the stormtrooper can have a different helmet. That's as simple as that.
But that's still a white helmet, Zach. Like, you understand the example you're showing us is still a white helmet with a blue stripe.
Yes. And that's why I'm saying it doesn't have to be all white. That's what your premise is.
I'm not saying, I never said all white, you can't have any color, because obviously jersey numbers have, like, Texas, the Vols, and Penn State all have jersey numbers on that are different colors, and they have a stripe on their helmet. I'm talking about white helmet. So literally the point that you're trying to make against me actually goes in my point. He has a white helmet. The helmet is white with a blue stripe.
It has blue on it, right? It doesn't have to be all white.
The Vols have an orange helmet or an orange stripe. Texas has orange decals. Penn State has navy blue decals. The point is, it's a white helmet. Like, you're making my argument for me in a way. It's a white helmet.
No, your argument is that it has to be white.
I know, Zach. No.
It has to be all white. It has blue. He has blue on it. He has, like, it's more blue. I can't pull up the.
It's a white helmet. It's a white helmet. Like, the helmet is white with a blue stripe. The Titans have blue helmets.
So you can be, and let's see if I can pull this up real quick. You can have, like, this has more blue than any other. All right, so give me 2 seconds.
Okay, now you got to, because I debunked your argument.
What are you talking about?
It's a white helmet.
Debunked.
It's a white helmet. It's not that hard.
It has blue at the bottom of it too.
At the bottom of what? The helmet? Oh, okay. So he's got blue shoulder pads,
right? So there you go.
The point is,
right.
The point is, the helmet is white.
You can call them icy whites. Like, come on, bro.
The helmet's white, Zach. You're wrong. Stormtroopers need to have a white helmet.
I just think you just watch some more Star Wars and you'll be educated.
I don't want to watch more Star Wars.
Well,
I have more.
Well, if you want to get into the Star Wars debate realm, then absolutely.
I don't care. I'm talking about Stormtrooper football jerseys. Stormtrooper football jerseys are white helmets, white jerseys, white pants.
You need to become a Jedi Master.
You can be a Jedi Master. I don't care. Go for it. You can.
I love Star Wars. I say that. Like, I don't understand how people don't like Star Wars. Like, I think it's fascinating.
I think it's entertaining when I'm watching the movie, but I'm not going to dive into every, like, crack and cranny of the storyline and obsess over it.
Then you can't argue about stormtroopers in that case.
It's not. They're not stormtroopers. Stormtroopers have white helmets. There you go. Randy, I see a white helmet with a blue stripe. All right, A to Z Sports. Let's get to our next discussion because we do have 3 Titans injury updates to discuss. But first, let me tell you guys about Renters Warehouse. Renters Warehouse, they are the professional landlords in the Nashville area. RentersWarehouse.com is where to go to find out how much your home can rent for. Use Renters Warehouse Nashville to help you out during this pandemic. If you're struggling financially, they have a way to help create extra income for you and your family. There's no binding contracts. There's no upfront cost. Literally, it's $89 a month, and they will manage your property and do everything for you and help you out during this time of need. Renters Warehouse Nashville. Check them out at renterswarehouse.com.
And Chris says, you guys need to bet where someone dresses up as a stormtrooper. The problem is that it probably gets a little expensive. Those stormtrooper get-ups are probably pretty, right? I mean.
And we can't do a show in the helmet.
Well, you probably could. I mean, it's not like you can't talk in a helmet.
Yeah, but we'd have to mic it inside.
You would know that if you watch Star Wars.
What? No, I'm saying the show, us doing a show on video would not be good for you guys, the viewer, of not being able to see our facial expression.
Oh, yeah. I disagree adamantly. If we're wearing a stormtrooper helmet, everybody's loving it.
Oh, initially. And then at some point, it's going to get old, and you want to be able to hear either of us.
They don't need to see us. They'd rather see a stormtrooper helmet for a show.
People talk about our facial expressions all the time. Like, no, and Deontay says, I'd watch. Of course you'd watch. You'd watch, and then it would get old.
No, it wouldn't. For a show, it wouldn't. We do. I dressed up as Elton John for a full show. Hopefully soon you will too. They love it. It's not a bad like that. That I think you're incorrect.
All right, A to Z Sports. Let's get to our injury updates here on a Titans Thursday. Zach, I'm going to have you rank 3 Titans players from most important to least important versus the Vikings. This is not overall. This is just versus the Vikings on Sunday. In what order do you place these 3 players? A.J. Brown, Darrington Evans, Vic Beasley. From most important to least important versus the Vikings. I mean, I can, if you want to think about it, I'm going to go ahead.
I'm going to answer. It's okay. I think that it's a tough question because it's not overall, because that's not what you're asking me, right? Like, not
it's just this Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday. Well, the hard part is, the Titans proved that they won last week without A.J. Brown, but you can always use A.J. Brown. But you also want him to be healthy later in the season when you get into more difficult territory like the Steelers and the Bills, and then Colts, Ravens, Colts. So I will probably knock him down. I don't know where or who the hell Vic Beasley even is. I don't know who that guy is. Never seen him. Don't know is he even there? I don't know. I think he's just I think he's a Star Wars character. I think he's fictional. I think he's mythical. I don't know if he even exists, right? Is he a stormtrooper? Is he an Imperial stormtrooper? I don't know. Is he Boba Fett? I have no clue. Never seen the guy. So I would like to, because you pay a man $9 million, you'd think he'd actually do something and not show up to camp hurt after you don't show up to camp, whatever you call camp is in 2020. And then Darrington Evans, I think they did just fine with Derrick Henry. I think they heard this week where Derrick Henry wants to run the rock, right? He wants to run. Give me the carries. I want the carries. Of
course he does. What athlete's going to say, no, I don't want carries?
So, I want to see Vic Beasley the most. I think they could win without Darrington Evans because we haven't seen the guy, right?
You think Vic Beasley's most important this week?
Yeah, because defensively they had the most problems last week, right?
I agree.
The defensive player.
Number 1 for me is Vic Beasley. I think Kirk Cousins is already mistake prone, right? And interception prone. You need to do whatever you can to force more mistakes from Kirk Cousins. And if Vic Beasley can at least help pressure and have Landry and Clowney play less snaps, I think it's very important to have Vic Beasley on the field in Minnesota. And let's just the quick update is Vic Beasley was full participation yesterday. So was Darrington Evans. A.J. Brown did not practice. People are saying that Jonnu Smith needs to be back. Jonnu Smith's going to be fine. If Jonnu Smith was seriously hurt, they would not have put him on Good Morning Football this morning. So Jonnu Smith is going to be okay. They're just giving the guy a Wednesday off, which is totally fine. So I think number one most important is Vic Beasley. I agree with you, Zach.
Yeah, so I would say number one. I think I'm torn because I think A.J. Brown can help this team, but I don't know how hurt he is.
Yeah, and that's where I
don't know how hurt he is.
I put A.J. Brown least important of the three for this week. I think getting Darrington Evans on the field against a defense that just had a rookie go for 100 yards on the ground and Jonathan Taylor last week, and without Daniil Hunter, who's still on IR, Anthony Barr is out. Eric Kendricks is a badass at middle linebacker, but I think the Vikings defense is weaker than we thought it was going to be going into the year. So I think this week could be a fantastic opportunity for Darrington Evans to get his feet wet and then rest A.J. Brown. Make sure A.J. Brown is ready for Steelers, Bills, Texans. Because in the grand scheme of things, Zach, if the Titans lose to the Vikings, it's not that big of a deal. The next 4 games you have coming up,
big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not. The next 4 games coming up, the Vikings is by far the least important because it's an NFC game. So rest A.J. Brown. He is the least important now. The passing game was still pretty dang good without him last week. And I think the most important is Vic Beasley. You need more pressure. I want to see Darrington Evans get his feet wet, get comfortable. So Pittsburgh's not his first game. Could you imagine if Pittsburgh is Darrington Evans' first game as an NFL player with that defense?
Well,
that's a tough spot.
You got to learn someday.
No, of course. And that's why I'm saying I would rather him get his feet wet now and let A.J. Brown rest.
I do think that my concern, and this is real talk for Titans fans, Austin, you and I heard the rumblings about A.J. Brown not being 100% before Denver. And, we couldn't confirm all all of that.
Well, there was talk that
it hasn't gotten better. It's only gotten worse.
His availability was at risk for Monday night, like you're saying. Like, not that just he was banged up, is that he might not play.
Right. And so now we're going on, probably close to a month that he has not been able to play football at any sort of, I would say, 100% level. That, I think, is the most concerning out of all of this. Is we don't know a lot about, look, I think we did our part. We talked to Dr. Arthur about from Bone and Joint, and we do our doc talks for that very reason, is like, what is a bone bruise in the knee? How long does it take? Is it serious? Can it get re-injured? And we learned a lot. I would go back on our Facebook feed. You can go back and listen to that. I think we were taught a lot of things about it, but it still doesn't expedite the process, the healing process. And it may be worse than what we thought, and that's not good going into Steeler country, Bill country, and then Texans as a divisional opponent. I don't know. I'm more concerned about that than anything on this football team because we know A.J. Brown is a game breaker. He can score a touchdown at any point in time when healthy. Well, that dude is not healthy, and I don't know when he's going to be 100%.
Jacob and Rob both talking about our Doc Talk segment with Dr. Arthur from the Bone and Joint Institute, which is great. And we're going to continue to do those whenever important injuries like A.J. Brown. Like we have access to 12 doctors, so we can find one that fits the schedule to pop on and talk about something that we don't know. And so the guru asked, do you expect this to be a lingering issue? Well, Dr. Arthur said it's the only way to fix it is to rest it. Because a bone bruise is basically a crack in the kneecap area, or the knee honeycomb, as Dr. Arthur put it. And you just have to let that crack heal on its own, because it's usually formed by a hyperextension, and it doesn't necessarily have a fear of getting worse or a fear of leading to a torn ACL or MCL or something like that. But it could turn into something that you need to have him miss a longer time for.
Well, dumb it down. Everybody's gotten a bruise, right? You know what I compared it to? And I wish I would have asked him this. Have you ever gotten a hip pointer?
No.
Oh, God. They hurt like a SOB. and it's like a bone bruise, but you can ice it at the beginning, but then it's just going to hurt. And the only thing that heals it is time and you not doing a bunch of stuff. That's what I kind of compare it to. And then just a traditional bruise. You can ice it when you first get injured, when you first get the bruise, and then you just have to wait it out. And I think that's where A.J. Brown's in. The problem is he's in the midst of an NFL football season where he gets paid to do a job that he can't do and his team needs him to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, you agree with me, Vic Beasley's number one, and that A.J. Brown, do you have A.J. Brown second or third?
I probably have him third because it's the Vikings.
Right. All right. A to Z Sports. Well, I have that grin. Rob says Austin has that grin going again because now we've gotten Kyle Brandt to respond to us on Twitter. So about the Stormtrooper update. So I've got the update because Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football. I'll play you guys the audio once again, and then I'll read you Kyle Brandt's response about the Stormtrooper debate. But first, Zach, while I'm getting the Stormtrooper response from Kyle Brandt ready, tell the people about Calvin and Subtle.
Yeah, Calvin and Subtle, they are the place that you need to get your hardwood floors. They can help you out a great deal. 615-448-6414. If you're trying to upgrade your house, don't sell your house, upgrade it. Rip up the carpet, rip up the hardwood floors, calvinandsubtle.com. That's calvinandsubtle.com, 615-448-6414. That's 615-448-6414. You call them up 1 to 2 weeks. They order the material, cost-effective hardwood floors, and then they install it right there. calvinandsubtle.com. They're trusted by us. They can be trusted by you right there on the screen. They can upgrade your house.
All right, A to Z Sports here live on a Thursday. This is what we love about this. Don't forget MyBookie, code MyTitans, mybookie.ag to double your first deposit there. So, Zach, Kyle Brandt, who started this whole Stormtrooper thing, has now responded. So
you and Buck started the whole Stormtrooper.
Well, yeah, but Kyle Brandt took it national for us. So we'll play the audio from Kyle Brandt and Johnny Smith once again, and then I'll tell you Kyle Brandt's response.
Hear me out. You guys will be wearing your white jerseys and white pants against Minnesota on Sunday, which some people have dubbed the Stormtrooper unis. But there are others who are very triggered by that because they say, no. Whoa. Stormtroopers do not wear blue helmets. And this Titans Twitter is on this, and Titans media is on this. So we need you to settle this. Jonnu Smith, star tight end for the Tennessee Titans. Are those the Stormtrooper units with the blue helmet? Should we be calling them the Stormtroopers or not?
Man, they named it the Stormtroopers, so I guess they got to be the Stormtroopers, man. It look pretty similar to me.
Okay.
It'd be dope to get some. It'd be dope to definitely throw a white crown on there. I mean, I can't lie, man. That'd be dope.
So there's Jonnu Smith responding to Kyle Brandt. Here is Kyle Brandt responding to Austin Huff, who hosts our Tighten Up podcast. He says, listen, the Stormtrooper Patone orgy has run amok. There are chrome ones, sand color ones. Having a blue accessory doesn't make Titans fake Stormtroopers. And in pure Kyle Brandt form, it makes them specialists. And then Kyle Brandt tweeted this picture to go along with it of how Stormtrooper specialists is what the Titans are. So Kyle Brandt, playing into what Jonnu Smith's answer was.
Where are we at there, buddy?
Kyle Brandt's going to spend everything.
Where are we at there, buddy? Where are we at?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Mic drop. National mic drop. Bow, 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 bow.
But once again, what color helmets are these specialists wearing? They're wearing white helmets. In order to be a Stormtrooper, you can have other colors, but you must have white helmets.
I think Mark Beach has a point.
What props am I skirting?
Bow, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow.
I don't understand what props I'm skirting. Is that you got to have a white helmet to be a Stormtrooper. That is still the standard, is that you have to have that. All right, so perfect way to send us to the magic bucket. Thank you,
Oh
Cal.
man, thank you. Look, Kyle Brandt has the same type of sense of humor that I do. That's why I like Kyle Brandt. I like Kyle Brandt. I like Nate Burleson. I think I like Good Morning Football is a good program. Now we don't watch him because we're on, but I like the mindset of, it's kind of lighthearted, but also very factual when you need to get factual.
And again, factually, those stormtroopers that Kyle Brandt brought up are wearing white helmets. They're wearing white helmets. I mean, you can keep making crazy DJ noises with your mouth all you want, but there's still white helmets.
Hey, look, I think Mike Vrabel's even he says, I like the stormtrooper unis. Right there, he's got his official avatar, too.
I know.
And he has his first name.
Yeah, Michael. Which me and Mike Vrabel share the same first name.
And, this guy's definitely, it's got to be Mike Vrabel. They don't have burner accounts or parody accounts on the internet ever.
No, they have to get that from YouTube. Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. All right. I mean, this is funny because both people are saying I should eat crow right now, and people are also saying that I'm right.
Majority of people are saying you should eat crow.
I'm not. The helmet's still white. It's still a white helmet. It's still a white helmet.
Stormtrooper.
No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely not. All right, guys. It's time for the.
Like you're just denying the factual evidence, and we brought a national analyst in on this conversation to confirm that you were wrong.
What the hell color are the helmets they're wearing?
It's a specialist. It's a specialist.
Wearing white helmets, Zach.
It's a stormtrooper specialist.
Yeah, with white helmets. The Titans are not wearing white helmets.
Sorry, bud.
All right. Magic Bucket is here for right now. All right. The BioPure Music City Magic Bucket. Zach, you've got a sticker, don't you?
I do.
Your sticker this week. Real quick, let me tell you about the Bone and Joint Institute. We've already been talking about them a decent amount with the A.J. Brown conversation. But if you get hurt, and the injury is probably going to happen to either you or somebody you love, head to the Bone and Joint Institute in Franklin, boneandjointtn.org for the best care you could possibly get with whatever your injury is, boneandjointtn.org.
I have a themed sticker for this week, and the love of the show goes to a Periscoper, Puka. He says, Austin, denial in you are, from the Yoda, that is absolutely epic. So thank you for that. That made me laugh. So shout out to Puka right there. You get the love of the show. My sticker, though, has nothing to do with NFL football. It has nothing to do with stormtroopers. It'd be funny if I had a Star Wars sticker right here. That would be hilarious. I don't. Instead, I have a theme of this year's SEC season, okay? The big talk about the SEC, let's face it, Austin, it's not about LSU defending their national championship because Joe Burrow's gone. It's not about Alabama. They're tired. They're tired of Alabama. It's not about any teams in the East. Nobody cares about Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri. Yeah, they don't care. Vandy, they're going 0-10. Nobody gives a rip about any of them. They care about one thing and one thing only, and that's the good old state of Mississippi, boy. Woo! I'm talking about Mike Leach and Lane Kiffin taking over, going bass fishing. This is a Mississippi sticker that will be placed on it because for the first time really in the history, well, I would say the history, Ole Miss was relevant when they beat Alabama 2 years in a row after they cheated, and Mississippi State was relevant when they were number one team in the country after they beat Auburn LSU with Dak Prescott. Mississippi right here, boy. We going fishing live on the BioPure Magic Bucket. Woo!
All right.
Get you some.
All right. Elks, stickers, trash. Rob, gag. Kelkins, Austin's face saying it all. Ugh.
Yeah, well, because we got a bunch of Vol boys, including yourself.
No, it's because it's a Mississippi sticker. That has nothing to do with Ole Miss or Mississippi State. It's a state of Mississippi.
Boy. Oh, yeah, baby. MISSISSIPPI.
It's an awful sticker. It's a bad.
Oh, it's going on the bucket, baby.
Well, luckily the bucket's in my possession, and you have to wait for that sticker to get on there.
I mean, I could care less.
It's a gross sticker. I'm with Brian. I'm throwing up puke. Ethan Ramsey says, boo this man. All right. Jacob says, if we give Memphis and Mississippi, it would simultaneously raise the IQ of both states. All right.
But, hey, can you deny that Mississippi is at the top of people's mind going into this SEC year? Confirm or deny?
Top of mind? No.
Confirm or deny?
Top of mind? No. More on mind than last year? Yes.
Well, who starts the season?
Florida and Ole Miss.
Who's the 2:30 CBS game?
Is that Florida and Ole Miss? No, that's 11 a.m. So it's Mississippi State and whoever they're going to get trounced by.
I said going into. I didn't say week 2 or week 5 or week 8. I said going into. And like facts are facts.
All right.
Mississippi is being talked about more than they have since I referenced.
Okay. A to Z Sports, the Magic Bucket is here, brought to you by BioPure Music City, changing the standard of clean. They're EPA regulated for the coronavirus, for the flu, for staff. They can come to your home, your office, wherever you want it to be. Quick and easy electrostatic spray. BioPure Music City is the place. So who draws first this week?
Let's see. I didn't have to do anything last week.
No,
I did.
That was so I draw for me first.
Yeah.
Okay. So first Magic Bucket sticker of the day. What? This involves money. Name all 32 starting NFL quarterbacks. For the ones you don't get right, you have to pay $1 to your co-host. What?
Is that for me or you?
It doesn't. I guess it's got to be from you because it doesn't have a name on it. It doesn't have it's got to be from.
Well, it's a general. Both of us have to do it, right? Or whoever.
I have to do it. I have to name these quarterbacks, and if I miss one, I have to pay you $1 for everyone I miss.
Yeah. So that means you shouldn't miss any. I mean, you honestly, one of the reasons why I made this up is, first of all, I thought that we could do this, right? And then second of all, I was like, if you can't do this, you need to be punished in your pocketbook.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. So hold
on. Let me get this. Let me at least have a reference so you could do this.
Can I just bring up the NFL teams?
No, absolutely not. You get zero help. You have to do this off the top of your head. That's the point. Are you kidding me? You don't have notes on a test.
I'm asking. I mean, you can say no, and that's okay. I'm just asking what you see. You would. That's a question you would ask and be like, "Look, man, I was just asking a question, and they're jumping on my ass for asking."
But if I was a teacher, I would give that exact same response to the kid.
Yeah, and you would be all. You would also be the student that asked the question. You would be both. And here's the thing. Kelkins brings this up. Current starters, injuries included, or at the beginning of the year?
Current starters right now. That's the whole point. Because it could change. It's starting quarterbacks heading into week 3.
What's the ruling on the Chargers? Because Tyrod Taylor was named the starter, but he's injured. Like Tyrod Taylor's still the starter, but he's injured.
That's fine, right? Like
I'm just making sure, right? I don't want to screw myself and have to do this.
So you could start there. So let's get going. We got 32.
Okay, so we got the AFC West we're going through. I'm going with the Chargers. Tyrod Taylor counts. Pat Mahomes, Derek Carr, and Jeff Driscoll. So
do you know who they just signed?
Yeah, they just signed Blake Bortles.
Yeah, God, that would have been a good slip up.
Yeah. But okay, so now let's just stick with the NFC West, okay? We're going to go Russell Wilson, Jared Goff. We've got Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyler Murray. All right, so now let's go to the Norris division, okay? Let's go AFC North. We'll start with Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, Mitch Trubisky, and Kirk Cousins.
That's NFC, but yes.
Did I say AFC?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I meant AFC North. Now we've got Ben Roethlisberger, we've got Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, and who am I missing?
Don't look.
I'm not looking.
You're looking. I'm
not looking. I'm looking at you. Who am I missing from the AFC North?
You can move on.
I'll come back to that. I said Joe Burrow, right?
Yes, just yeah.
Okay.
It should be- I should-
Lamar Jackson. Okay.
I should
Duh.
put-
My God.
Go- make sure your
I'm
screen's
not
off,
looking at, I'll change over off the comments.
right? We do Scouts honor here.
Yeah, and I'm not cheating. I'm looking at you or at my light. So now let's go East, AFC East. Sorry, AFC this time. We've got Cam Newton, Ryan Fitzpatrick currently, Josh Allen, and Sam Darnold. Somebody needs to rescue Sam Darnold from Adam Gase. NFC East, we've got Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, and NFC East. Oh,
Move
Matt
on.
Ryan. So now I've just got the two South divisions.
Correct.
That was the South.
Yeah, you did. You
I
didn't
did.
do-
I didn't do it. Now it's AFC South. So AFC South, I've got Tannehill, Watson, Minshew, and Rivers. And now that's it, right? I did it all.
East.
Oh, NFC East. Yes. Dak, Carson Wentz still, Daniel Jones, and Dwayne Haskins.
There you go. Next time we got to put a timer on that. I think it would be a lot better.
Yeah, I completely.
You got them all. I don't want.
Yeah, I just jumbled the
But a
division.
timer would be really good to see that because that puts pressure on you.
Right, for sure. Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
I
at
didn't.
times you got all kinds of messed up.
I did get confused there for a second. Okay, now for Zach, I did say Mahomes. It's the first division I did. You've already done that. Let your co-host tweet out something of his choosing within reason from your personal account.
Oh, you have not done that for me.
You have not received this yet.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So now I receive it.
So now I have to come up with something for you to tweet. So I'll think of that now as we end the show.
That's not a bad one. What I did the
ruined Buck.
Jones one last time.
Yeah,
and
you
then
did Butch Jones to me.
and then Buck.
Yeah, I ruined Buck with his DMs. I said his DMs were wide open, and it was.
But that's a very Buck thing. So yeah, I'm curious now to see what you. I thought about this.
You're not nearly as hard. You're harder to come up with than Buck. Buck's an easy target with this.
Yeah, well, because he's like a diva on crack on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I did not miss any quarterbacks, guys.
No, yeah, you got them all.
I got them.
I think in the future of you, I think it would be good to time toe to toe.
Yeah.
To see what you could do and what I could do. Again, we've now. I'm excited about Trivia Tuesday that we just coined this week, but I think that could be something too.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show today. Love the interaction. Great show. Also, a great job from Kyle Brandt making this Stormtrooper discussion national. We'll be back tomorrow morning on a Friday to get ready for the SEC weekend. Thank goodness. And Buck has a podcast coming out and primetime tonight as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Adios.